Why do we set the clocks forward and recognize daylight saving time? Hey there, everyone. I'm meteorologist Bill Kelly at CBS News Philadelphia, and I'm going to make it simple. All right, so the whole deal is kind of crazy. It started here in 1918 during World War I, and the reason that Congress implemented daylight saving to get that extra hour of daylight was for the war. And the reason for that is because back then there wasn't a huge electrical grid like we know now, so many people used resources to light their home. Well, those resources were needed for the war effort to build things like planes and missiles, etc. So the thought was we extend the daylight out by an hour. That way people will use less product for their lighting, therefore we can use it for the war. And it worked. And we had daylight saving until 1919, just a year. And then we got rid of it, and things went back to standard time until World War II. In 1942, Congress did it again, and this time it lasted 3 years. Then in 1945, Congress said, okay, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to leave it up to states and cities to do their thing, and you can imagine what happened. Chaos ensued. It wasn't just the state. Cities could designate whether or not they were on standard time or daylight saving time. So you could have one city, like Philadelphia, for example, that might be on daylight saving time, and then you go up the road to the next city and it's on standard time, and then you pass the city among that and it's back to daylight saving time. So you can imagine the chaos that went with businesses and trying to keep time straight. And this lasted until 1966, 21 years of chaos. That is when Congress said, enough. We're done. If you're a state, you can stay on standard time, but we're not going to choose one or the other. So over time, most states chose, okay, we'll just kind of do the back and forth thing because it was no longer a war effort. It was more of a lifestyle. People kind of started liking the sunlight later during the summer. To this day, there's only 2 states in our entire country that do not change the clocks. Both of them are on standard time. So where do we sit now? Well, there's been a lot of talk about daylight saving or standard time. And believe it or not, 19 states have already passed laws that say we want to stay on daylight saving time. But Congress doesn't allow that. Congress still says you can stay on standard time, but not daylight saving time. So until Congress puts out a law that will allow these states to stay permanently on saving time, they continue to go back and forth and back and forth. There was a proposal recently that was put out that said, hey, let's eliminate the daylight saving, let's eliminate the standard time, and make everybody 30 minutes. Let's just bring the ones in, bring the ones down, and it's 30 minutes throughout the year. That didn't pass, and at this point, we're still under the old way. If Congress decides to make that legal, then those 19 states will instantly jump up to a permanent daylight saving time. In my personal opinion, I don't think that's going to happen because if a state could choose between saving or standard, then you could be back in the chaos. Take, for example, if New Jersey was standard, but Pennsylvania was daylight saving, but New York was daylight saving, then Maryland was a different one, and Virginia's a different one, and then you go down to North Carolina and they're different. You could be going back and forth in time zones. I mean, it would be chaos again. So my guess is it's not going to happen. So for now, unless you live in Arizona or Hawaii, we're going to get to go back and forth and back and forth. But hey, in the fall, we get an extra hour's sleep, and in the summer, looks like this, a little later. Hope that made sense.